All right, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I am Willena. I am your NEMT startup coach. I apologize for my voice. I left it somewhere behind and it has not caught up yet, but I'm glad that you guys have made it. I would not reschedule this. I would not change the dates because it's very difficult to get everyone together at one time. So I just want to take a moment and I'm going to start. I guess we'll start with Alicia, then Taylor, then Wayne and Cheryl. If you guys can just give everybody a little bit of your background, the name of your companies, when you started, and just some information about you guys.
Okay, well, nice to meet everybody. My name is Alicia Harris, and my background, I come from corporate America as a project manager. And before I was a project manager, I was the executive assistant. So it's like many years of experience in corporate America. So that's what actually kind of led to me being kind of involved in this business is my background. I figured I'd give it a shot here after I lost a very dear friend. But I started my business June 27th, 2023. That's when I started. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey. Yeah. So if I missed something, I might have.
No, that's good. We'll go back and we're going to talk about your journey. Can you give everybody the name of your business and where you're
Yes,
located?
I'm sorry. Yes. It's We Simply Care Transport and Services, and I'm located in Illinois.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Alicia. And Miss Taylor, you're up.
Okay, I'm Taylor. My business name is Assured Care Transportation, which is located in the state of Louisiana. My husband and I, we decided to start this business. It was July 18th of 2023 when we moved forward to get everything started. I am a registered nurse. And I've been a nurse going on 4 years now. So that kind of leads into the next section on what led us to this.
Amen. Good. That's good. That's awesome. I love the experience in healthcare and business always helps in this industry. Okay, thank you for that. Wayne and Cheryl, can you guys give us your background and information?
My name is Wayne Fowler, and this is my wife, Cheryl Fowler, and we are the owners of True Care Non-Medical Emergency. I've been in the transportation basically all my life, and so, I just came on one day. My wife is in business manager. She's a manager. She's been in the managers for over 30 years. So I just came on one day from my job and just told her I want to do something different. And she was all in. So we did a little research with you. And, here we are. Granted, we started in July as well.
Yeah, August 9th to be exactly what I consider us going live.
Okay.
But I think we truly started in March. That's when we applied for our LLC and said, hey, we're going to do this. Yeah. It was March. So, but, it took us some months, research, getting all our certifications, getting everything that we needed lined up. And we went live 1st of August.
Yeah, but it has been a struggle and a challenge. So like Alicia said, it's been somewhat of a challenge. So we're still in the learning stages. So, here we are.
Amen. Thank you for that. And can you tell everybody what state you're in?
I'm sorry, we're in Florida. We're in Jacksonville, Florida, to be exact.
Awesome. Florida is a big hot spot for NEMT providers. Get a lot of people out of the Florida area. So I know they're going to definitely stick around to listen to you guys' story.
Great.
Yes. So I guess I'm just going to ask the question and you guys can come in as you want to. Conversational, what really led you to NEMT? What was your experience, one of your experiences that said, okay, I'm definitely going to open up my own non-emergency medical transportation company?
For me, personally, I've been, like I said, I've been in transportation all my life. And, I had a previous business back in 06, 07. It was a dump truck business. And when the economy crashed, my business somewhat struggled. So I had to go get another job working for a company. And after working with that company for 10 years, I was just ready to step up on my own and do something different. So I was like, what is that I want to do? I'm getting an age. I don't want to do any physical work from the transportation side. So I looked at the MENT and did my research on this. And I said, hey, this is something that, I could do. I can retire doing. So, and I have a passion for people. I have a passion for helping people. So this was something I wanted to do.
Sounds good. Those are good reasons. How about you, Taylor? what brought you into the game?
So I think working within the healthcare industry has definitely given me the opportunity to witness the demand of non-emergency medical transportation. Just for the, my nursing experience the past couple of years, some of the patients that I've even taken care of has voiced their concerns of not being able to make it to their medical appointments or missing appointments due to not having transportation. So that's one of the major, I think, inspirations that was okay, hey, I think we should start this up, just because I feel that it's something that's really needed and not many know or understand that.
That's right. That's right. That's very true. All good points and good reasons to get into the industry.
Right.
Now, thank you for that. How about you, Alicia? What brought you into the NEMT industry?
Even though I was in corporate America, it was partly on the healthcare side. I worked for pharmaceutical companies. And last year in May, I had a dear friend at our church who woke up one morning. She had a spinal stroke, which is very rare. And her journey going to the hospital, wanting to go see a specialist, and how nursing homes and they're not providing transportation anymore. So the struggle of on the phone trying to find a transportation company that could transport her in her wheelchair because she could not walk from the waist down anymore. Right. So her journey, wanting to go see a specialist in Chicago, couldn't get transportation. Well, ultimately, because we couldn't get her to a specialist, we couldn't get her across the border to Indiana. This year in May, she passed. So I said, when my last project management term contract ended, I said, you know what? I want to do something to help people. I turned 63 this year, and I'm saying, hey, there's strength that I put in corporate America, I'm going to put towards my own business now to help people, because seeing her on her sick bed, nobody should be on their sick bed making calls trying to get to a doctor's appointment to see a specialist or anything like that. Nobody should be doing that, So, yeah. Plus, I don't like how people are left, if they're picked up in substandard vehicles. They are left at appointments. It's just a sad situation. So I wanted to be part of the solution.
That's right. That's awesome reasons and great points that you bring out, because I oftentimes see that. Matter of fact, I was at a clinic, I think it was Friday, and they're utilizing a lot of Uber. And the Uber driver was in her car and she was having a bad day. You could visibly see it. And the patient was I worked dialysis. The patient was a catheter. So they were just putting on the caps of the catheter. And she was like, I can't wait. This is Uber. I have to leave. And I'm just like, hands up in the air. I'm like, look, this is a person, that you're going to make wait another 20 minutes for another Uber over 5 minutes. So it is a very big challenge. And I do see it a lot in healthcare too. So that leads me into what I know that in NEMT, the industry itself does not have a lot of information over the last couple of years. It's starting to get there. We're starting to see more information, more videos, and on some of the things that you may encounter as an NEMT provider. But can you guys tell me some of the challenges that you guys have faced by starting your NEMTs and in the states that you're working in?
Yeah, I'll just kick it off a little bit for us, what we've experienced. So in the state of Florida, we've come to find out that Florida is a big broker state, especially for the Medicaid state contract. We wasn't aware of that initially going in. We wasn't aware of a lot of things initially going in, but realizing that is how our state is, has required us to, go about things differently, right? And in terms of our marketing to our private pays or establishing, private pay contracts, things like that. I think one of the biggest challenge for us is, Willena, you've been a great help to us over these several months since we started the business. But we've had to do a lot of research ourselves because, you're in South Carolina, North Carolina, we're in Florida. We had to really kind of understand what Florida requirements are and what Florida need. There was not a website I could go to and could list and tell me. No, that would be way too easy, right? So just spending the time, taking little nuggets from Facebook groups, taking nuggets from online research, taking nuggets from you, and just really doing the homework and the research to understand what we need to do from a Medicaid, Medicare perspective has been a big challenge. I mean, still is a challenge for me today. We're still on the end. I think we're on the tail end of it, but it has been a challenge. I think the other thing that has been a challenge, or something that we wasn't really aware of, is the payment structure. Like the net 30s, the net 60s, the net 45. I can remember I think it was you, Willena, telling us that, we got to be prepared to carry our business or manage our business without income for 3 months or so. Thank God you said that, because I took that as a way, as any new business, you kind of got to manage your business for 3 months. I didn't realize you're not going to get paid for the work you did for 30 days or 60 days or 45 days when you're working with brokers. So so it's a good thing we were prepared for that part of it from a financial perspective. But when I realized, we're not going to even get paid for this trip for 30 days or 45 or 60, I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, that was like an eye opener. But again, thank goodness that you helped us prepare for that. We were somewhat prepared for it. And now we know we can manage through that. That was I won't say a challenge, just a big aha moment for us, I guess, within our journey. But understand that's the industry and that's what it is. But we just didn't see a lot of that in the Facebook groups. We didn't hear a lot about those payment methods and how they can vary from broker to broker. From facilities, things like that. So that's just, I think, part of the learning, not necessarily a challenge, but part of the learning. Did you want to say something, honey?
No, that's all.
No? Okay.
Good.
And I have to agree. In Florida, the good thing about Florida is that there is a lot of opportunity, but there's also a lot of competition. And with that being said, there's a lot of different pricing structures and a lot of different pricing models. And I know when you guys first entered the market, you guys were more focused on wanting to get your own self-pay and, and focusing on marketing in that area. But I'm grateful that you guys did kind of restructure and remodel your business and financial plannings and strategies so that you guys could catch up, because it is difficult because everyone does operate differently with those various brokers. That's
right.
very
Another thing that I realized too in the industry, I know you mentioned earlier about, we're going to need different facilities and patients are waiting, they need to be picked up. But overall, to be honest with you, that's the nature of the business, because unless you have multiple vehicles, it's hard for you to be right there when somebody's ready to be picked up. So you running all around town, pick somebody up. Unless you got multiple vehicles, there is going to be a time where someone is going to have to wait. The problem is you need to call them and say, I'm 10 or 15 minutes late. You keep those lines of communication open, so that way you won't have the negative feedback. And a lot of these people can understand that we only have one vehicle. So if I call, say, well, Lena, I'm running 10 to 15 minutes behind, they can understand that. The problem is when we don't communicate that with them, that's when they start complaining and having a problem, giving you bad reviews and things like that. So, and
you have to schedule, you got to be mindful of that, because you don't want to have people waiting on you, waiting, because people coming from their appointments, they want to get to their home and relax. They're not feeling well, things like that. So your scheduling strategy and process that you do for scheduling has to ensure that if there is going to be any type of wait time, it is minimal.
Right.
So you got to put the customer first instead of the money first, trying to just pick up everybody and make all the money you can make. You got to make sure that your customers first, your brand, the integrity of your company is always the priority for us. I mean, we will not take a trip if it's going to mean our customer that we're going to drop off is going to sit and wait too long. That's just not going to be true care. That's just not who we are. We're not your typical drop and go. We prefer that our customer pays our wait fee and asks us to wait for them. That's our preference for them. We encourage them to do that. But even if they can't, then we're still going to schedule in a way that they're not going to have to wait long, more than 10, 15 minutes before, Wayne is back there picking them up. So I think that's how you have to look at this business, and not just look at it from a money perspective, but from a customer perspective and a human and people perspective. And that's who we are. If we don't make six figures, then that's well okay. We'll be six figure in God's eyes, because we'll be serving his people. So we're okay with that.
That's right. And that's where the blessings are anyway. So that's a good thing. And, it always comes. And when you're focusing on the customer, then it's bound to excel, because word of mouth is the best type of advertisement that you can get. It's the best. So I know that it's gonna pick up and be just fine. Yeah. Thank you guys for sharing. Taylor, I know you're not as far out in the journey, but can you discuss where you are in the startup process and some of the challenges that you've met?
Yes, absolutely. Just as what Cheryl started out talking about, even within the state of Louisiana, it's easy to say, yes, I'm a startup a business. You can purchase transportation and start, providing that service, but it's just knowing where to start as far as the business aspect of it. I find that was a huge challenge, not having many resources here, going off of Facebook groups, YouTube videos, in which that's how we came across your services. I mean, without your help and guidance, we wouldn't have gotten as far as we are now. Of course, we aren't that far yet, driving out, but we are working our way there. I think by the beginning of next year, we should be up and ready to start providing actual transportation services.
That's right. That's right. And I'll just speak on your progress. You're doing an amazing job. Taylor is in the beginning stages. She's working on building her financial credit and business credit and reaching out to the different organizations that I point you guys to. So she's almost there. Once she gets that certification, then we're transitioning over to the transportation side. So she's doing a great job. And so thank you for that. And Alicia, I think you got the toughest story here, but it's one of the best learning stories that we've got today also, because your testimony is definitely impressive on what you've had to go through to get this business going. So if you can just kind of talk about the challenges that you've had opening up your business.
Well, like I say, it sparked from out of the experience of my friend. So because I was on the internet trying to find transportation for her to be able to go to appointments or home, I saw videos, YouTube videos, right? And so I started following this one very popular one. And so I said, oh, okay, I can do this, right? I can do this. Hey, I'll do this, right? So I started on the journey following that pattern, but soon ran into realizing that pattern didn't fit where I'm at in Illinois. And so I believe the hype, get the vehicle and just get out there and start doing it, and it doesn't work like that. It's so much. If you guys could see the walls in this office of mine and all the steps that I have gone through and done, things I probably didn't have to do. But ultimately, like I say, it's a learning process, right? Those videos do not show you the nitty gritty, what you really have to do to establish yourself as a viable business. In order to be successful, there are certain things that need to be in place in order for you to really do it. Yeah, you can get out there and get the little ride for $20 or whatever, which I'm not doing. It doesn't economically make sense to start a vehicle and travel and go get somebody for $20. That's not economically sound.
That's way too long.
Oh yeah, she wanted to see you, James Harris. Okay, so uh, he ran out of the room. So anyway, the journey, it's been a long journey, guys. It really did. I followed the video. I ran out. I got the vehicle, beautiful vehicle. Sits outside, looks at me, and I said, "Girl, you got to make some money. I got the insurance, which just blew my mind. How much NEMT insurance costs, just all the particulars when you sign up with the broker, how they want to be on your insurance policy as an additional insured. The people I'm working with want to charge me to add companies to the policy as additional insured. They don't just do it. I mean, all you got to do is type a name, right? But they
Right.
don't just do that. They charge you for that. Yeah, they charge you to add them.
Yeah, they didn't charge us because I think we added what 4 or 5 brokers. They never charged us. So
Yeah, that's the bottom of your insurance. That being a certificate holder. You know, my past experience working with different various at the time those brokers also they didn't charge you for that. So I'm surprised they charge you for that.
It's state specific. It is
Oh,
totally
Yes, it's
state
state
specific.
specific. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So for our state, well, I don't know. It could be this insurance company because I did go through a lot of insurance companies, and they were quoting me something like $20,000 a year, you know. And then these people finally got down where it was somewhat reasonable, reachable, right? And so I went with them, but then, like I say, there's the variance, the little nuances they don't tell you about every time you want them to do something that should be just courtesy because I'm paying you a lot of money anyway, right? But it's not. It's not. It's a charge for everything. So it's been a journey. Did you want to say anything, Mr. Harris?
Sure, of course.
The question is,
Sure.
what challenges you have had?
Well, can you hear me?
Well, maybe they can't see you.
Come on in.
Video. And that's okay. So it doesn't matter if you can see me or not.
If you come in, they can see
One
you.
of the things that was very difficult for me, we've had several businesses. We've been married long enough where I know my wife, she's going to get an idea. She's going to jump on it and she's just going to run. She's just going to run, right? And so that leaves me with the opportunity to say, okay, I want you to learn for yourself, but at the same time, I want you to know what you're doing, right? Because we're investing money, we're investing time.
Right.
I'm looking at the emotional content also that she's investing, which when you're married, obviously that's a big factor. The thing about me was I have to try to put a cap on it in regards to how much we're going to put into it, how much is it, you know, because you have to think about your age, you have to think about, you know, financial pieces that you have in place. What are you willing to invest? Now, I know my wife, I know that she's going to, you know, she's like a pit bull. She's going to grab hold to it and she's going to shake that thing until something comes out of it. But at the same time, we have to be realistic in regards to the financial aspects of it. And so the hardest thing that I have to do for it and say, okay, here's what you're going to have to work with. You have X amount of time to do that within. And then from there, show me what I need to do to help you. And now the other piece is, though, while I'm continuing to still do what we need to do to survive, you know, on our daily expenses and everything, I have to be careful that she doesn't lean on to me to be that savior to come in and hit the street, because that's what I do. I know how to connect with other resources. I know how to connect with agencies, and because I work in the non-for-profit sector. So I work with the Lake County Health Department. I've worked with other non-for-profit agencies helping serve, not serve, but the underserved community. And so she's like, okay, I know you're going to do this. I know you're going to be out there and you're going to be, you know, promoting us. But at the same time, I can do all that promotion, but we need to make sure that the foundation is correct. You're able to receive the financial inflows that are there so far as Medicare, Medicaid, not Medicare, but Medicaid, all of those things, which takes time. And so it just takes a lot of patience on my part to be able to allow her to work through that. You asked what it took.
Philip, maybe actually, are you driving? Philip, are you driving?
I can't hear nobody.
Oh, okay. You want to hear people?
Philip, are you driving?
So I'm not driving as of yet. She's roping me into it. I've done all of the trainings. I'm actually, a part of the organization from the financial support, right? And so, but I'm not driving yet. I have maybe a couple of years left before I'll actually retire.
Right.
I'm a veteran, so I do have some things that I'm doing with that, but I probably will end up driving on a full-time basis. Not something I want to do, though. I'm going to just be honest. I don't want to do that. I would rather manage.
Right. And that's the position that we're in right now. Luckily for me, my wife is a manager and she works from home. So she has the challenge of trying to juggle both her day job as well as manage our office business. So for me, I'm doing all the driving and she's taking all the calls, but it's somewhat of a challenge. And some days she get a little, I ain't gonna say a little frustrated, get overwhelming. So I'm like, we need to get somebody else in that position to handle that. But right now, from a financial standpoint, we can't afford to do that right now. So
that's correct.
To do that, we're gonna be, somewhat, we're gonna work through it. And for you, Taylor, if I was in your position, one of the things that I would do, I would get out there and do my research, because a lot of these Facebook say tell you to go to the nursing home, go to the dialysis center. But when you go to these facilities, they tied up with brokers. So just by you going through there, it's not necessarily mean that you're going to get a contract with them. And your phone is not going to be ringing off the hook like that. It's going to take a minute. It's going to take a while. And you got to have that financial to sustain you to those rough moments, because luckily, if it wasn't for my wife and her job or whatever like that, I don't know where we would be at. And that's just being as transparent as possible.
And I think one of the big learnings we learned throughout this journey, especially when we started connecting with the brokers, is to really, and Taylor and Alicia, and I'm sure Alicia knows this, but to really advocate for yourself. Don't just accept what they want to pay you. Push back a little bit and try to get more, because they will pay you pennies if you allow them to. So, they may come in saying, I'm just throwing out a number and say $1 a mile. Don't just accept that. Push back as far as you can, as much as you can, before you just accept what they're willing to give. And we learned that the hard way with the first broker we signed. We was just trying to get signed, trying to get some trips, and trying to, run our van. And we just realized that was pennies, and that was we just could not live with that. And so we're very picky now on any trips we accept from that broker. But that was a learning for us. Advocate for yourself, no one else. These brokers are gonna want to pay you the minimal that they can. But you push back and you really try to get the most you can from the brokers up front, because once you sign that contract with those brokers, they're going to want to pay you that no more. There's some wiggle room, and if a trip is unique or different, that you might be able to negotiate a flat rate. But once you sign the contract with the broker, they really want you to honor those contracts. So just really advocate for yourself. Don't just accept the first thing that a broker tells you. So
yes, she's true about that. We got this one particular rider, and I've been dealing with her for several months. So she liked me. She liked me. She liked my service, because before we started the business, I told my wife we're gonna have this professional appearance. I got my shirt with my name on my shirt, my napkin pants. So she liked my appearance.
Right. The uniform that he makes me iron on Sundays or Saturdays for the week. He's not going out of here wrinkled. He takes pride in his uniform.
Good.
So this lady has gotten comfortable with me. She likes me. She has a caretaker that goes, but I transfer maybe twice a week. It just varies. So out of the blue, about 3 weeks ago, she said, "How much are you paying for this trip? How much are they paying you for the trip?" Now the trip is probably about 8 miles total, round trip of 8 miles. She said, "How much are you making for this trip?" I said, "Well, you tell me." She said, "Well, no, if you tell me, I'll tell you." I said, "Well, they're paying me $130 for this trip." And she said, I get a printout for workman's comp. They're paying me $865.
Wow.
To the brokers.
To the brokers. And you mean to tell me that's all you're getting is $130? I said, yes, I am. She's like, well, you need to get more money. And I said, well, I'm still new to the business. I'm still trying to get established and hopefully I can break away. So I went back to them. I didn't tell them what. I went back to the broker and said, well, hey, let's negotiate this rate. So what they did, they gave me $20 more. So I'm making $150 on that trip, to where I know what the workman's comp is paying up $860 something, $865 and 23 cents to be exact. The money is out there, but they're not just going to give it to us. They making all the money and we're just getting these changed. So that's why it's important to get yourself established, break a break from those brokers, and start doing your own thing.
That's the one thing I'll say, Wayne and Cheryl, that impressed me even with the first meeting that Alicia had with Willena. I'm sorry, is with Willena, was the fact that she was willing to share some of these tips that happens and things that take place in the background. And most people won't tell you that. They just want to get you into the business, and they just want you to, get involved with them and do those type of things. But I was grateful that she had somebody that she could talk with to really help her understand some of the things that happen on the background, in the background, because nobody's going to really tell you that unless you get those type of relationships with those clients. And, it was kind of hard for me because we have this set amount of monies that's set aside for the business. And she says, well, I got to spend this, and I got to use this, and I got to do that. And for my mindset, it's like, okay, what is it going to produce? Because I want to see the return on investment, right? And it's not going to be immediate. That's for sure. It's going to take time to establish that and everything. So that's why we really, it's important to me that hopefully from here, she won't need any more advice from people, but as much as just getting in there, learning what she learned.
Need advice from Willena.
No, I know that. For many other people.
No, I don't think I do. I think that already in just the short period of time that we've engaged her, she's changed her trajectory of my business, where I was looking at it to just, okay, I got to get the rides, right? And you changed it to say, no, back up, stop, hold up. You can only you go ahead, do what you got to do, because I got the truck. I fell for the hype. I got the truck, right? The truck costs some money. The insurance costs some money, right? So I have to try to do something to maintain that. But on the other side, I need to get certified as minority owned. And I'm still kind of trying to figure out where and how to do that. It's not as straightforward here in Illinois as
So, Lisa, you don't mind me asking, what kind of vehicle do you have?
I have a 2022 Ford Transit Connect, so I can transport 3 ambulatory and 1 wheelchair.
Yeah, we have a 2020 Dodge Caravan rear entry. That's another thing, Taylor, that I would strongly suggest. When you're looking at your vehicles, try to get a rear entry. If you're going to start out with the wheelchair van, get a rear entry, because they're more friendlier. You can do a lot more with, as opposed to getting a side entry. I found that out doing my research or whatever like that. So I would suggest you do that.
My advice is don't get that vehicle until you get everything set up first.
Right. When I first met with her, she was like, "Don't even think about the vehicle right now. We got this."
All right, bro. I'm just telling you whatever you want. Yeah.
That's one of the things, because unfortunately Alicia had to experience that, where she went with another a group of individuals who are popular on YouTube, who said, hey, we can get you in this vehicle, we can get you this insurance, and we got a broker list, and hey, just go out and do XYZ and you're in the money. And that's not how it works.
Right.
And then you're left high and dry with these vehicle expenses, no contracts. You're trying to figure out what your next step is, and you really haven't gotten the business side set up on top of that transportation side, and it just becomes a mess.
Right.
So a lot of times what I have to do with individuals with Taylor and with those that come in brand new that haven't done anything, that's the best part, is to just say, let's not worry about anything. We don't worry about anything until your business is certified. You gotta have one of those SBA certifications in this industry. I don't care what anybody tells you. In order to work with those brokers, you have a major benefit by having those certifications. You get the better rates, you get the better networking ability. They take care of you a lot better. There's programs, the small business development centers that you work with, they have workshops. And once you get acclimated with them, you'll start to see the payoff of working with these different government contracting agencies. But starting out, it's very hard. They're not transparent. If they were transparent, we'd all be successful, right? But they make it difficult and they make it challenging because it's a money game. It's a money. You spend the money on the insurance, you spend the money on the vehicle, and then guess what? You're left with all of these things if you don't get a contract. So unfortunately, you're almost set up to fail without that certification. So that's why I totally instruct and try to teach everyone that I speak with is to wait until you have that certification to move forward. Now in Florida and in Texas, it's a little bit different because you guys have so many opportunities. Whereas in these other states like Illinois, you only have one, you have the impact. And in Taylor's case, you have the Department of Health, right? Is that in Louisiana? So you don't have all of these different brokerages and workers' compensation agencies that are reaching out until you have that experience. So you guys are on fire. I love
what type of certifications you need to actually get started? What all you need to get started?
So
go ahead.
So like as far as certifications, see, like with Willena's help, I was able to get in contact with the Louisiana Apex Center. It was LAPTAC, but they ended up changing their name, and they assisted me with getting the certifications Willena was mentioning, the LA Hudson, and the other one, they have some for veterans if you're a veteran, and then they have like just a small business certification. And once you get those, that gives you an opportunity to start receiving state contracts within the state of Louisiana. But without having those certifications, you aren't able to apply or even be offered those state-specific contracts and even federal.
Yeah. And so in Illinois, with the impact, the good part about it is I am able to complete the application and submit the necessary documentation, right? It's still a process of them approving it. It might not happen until 2024, right? But in that time, my goal is to start this certification process. Somebody's gonna do it next week. Somebody's gonna do it next week, because right now I'm like on this roller coaster where I'm calling, nobody's calling me back. So I've made up my mind, hey, look here, I know what the address is. I'm going downtown Chicago next week. And I'm going to be standing in somebody's for you saying, listen, I want to be certified. What's the problem?
That's right.
Why nobody calling me back?
That's right. And I think, Cheryl, we had talked about it too when we were first talking about the certification process, because it just gives you an upper edge in your networking ability to get on the My Florida DMS, where they offer most of your, in Florida, they offer most of your your prison contracts. They offer your school-wide contracts, things like that, and your emergency disaster contracts will be there too. So getting that certification, it's not hard. It's just like Alicia was saying, is that getting in contact with someone and then getting the paperwork filled out. I think Taylor, she sailed right through. She didn't have any issues.
Wow, that's good.
It's not always that easy.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I can't complain. It was pretty smooth, but of course I try not to get ahead of myself. I just try to take step by step, and it's been pretty smooth so far, but I know we'll have some bumps in the road, and we're trying to prepare mentally for that.
So can I ask a question? You shouldn't have to pay to be certified, should you?
No, it's free.
Okay.
It's
All
free.
right.
No payment. no payments. It's all federally mandated and state mandated. So those certifications will come through the Apex Accelerator or the PTAC office and or that your Small Business Development Center. So those are definitely your first places to start with getting your certifications right out the door before you even do anything else with your business. Once you start your financial credit building, then right along with that, you should be starting your certification process, because the goal is within that first 3 to 6 months to have that certification. So then once you have that certification in hand, you can slap it on your website that you're certified with whatever certification you have. And then you can contact that broker and say, hey, I'm a certified business, or your PTAC counselor can reach out also to help and assist you to get in contact with someone.
So Alicia, what kind of marketing are you doing the facilities? How are you going about doing your marketing? You got flyers, brochures, or how do you do your marketing? Are you concentrating on?
I got the brochures. We got, a lot of great young folks at the church, right? So I just recently started working with this young man who graduated, got his digital marketing degree. So he's working on my Facebook page, which we pushed out, and he's posting for me, getting that out there. And then, like I say, James don't know it, but he is the feet on the ground. He's working with all these agencies, right? Yeah. But the key is that Medicaid piece. Okay. Even though private pay is more lucrative, the reason I got in it was to help people, right? The reason I got in it is because the people that are on Medicaid, the people that are that need the most help are the underserved, right? So, the ones who don't get treated right, the folks that are on per se HMO, plans that don't really service them good. So I can't leave them out. And that's why I'm pursuing the impact part. But yeah, I haven't really started out there yet because like I say, my NEMT coach told me to hold up and get certified. So I'm on the hold right now, and I'm doing some things like word of mouth. I have some family scheduled for Thanksgiving that I will pick up their loved one and take them to their home. And then later on that evening, take them back, So that's a service. Of course, that's a premium service, and that's private pay. So I have kind of promoted that service, for the holidays, and trying to keep it minimal because like say, we did set aside a certain amount of money for me to survive for 3 months. So I got myself a goal to get certified really.
Right. That's right. And I'll tell you, I know we talked about this before, but this is the digital age. So the majority of your marketing, like 75% of your marketing should be in the digital arena. You've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you got TikTok, you've got LinkedIn. There's so many Snapchats, there's so many opportunities, and you can boost your posts, but it's getting LinkedIn, like Alicia said, with the right person who can manage that account. Now, I've been using previously, I just switched a little bit around, but I use different individuals from Fiverr. I think I was using Nafish, and he was able to help assist with some of the SEO work to make sure that your posts are actually reaching the demographics that the algorithm needs to touch. So you do have to take some time, and it is you are aiming towards something when you're doing your SEO and your marketing and branding for your digital piece. But that is a very significant portion, is that digital aspect. I think that's the first thing that I tell everybody is, get your website up, because it takes at least a good 6 months before it even starts rotating up into the algorithm. Get your Google page up for your business so that people can find your business on Google. Go ahead and just do that coming soon post on Facebook so that your page can start to get into the algorithm. All of these things, when you start out, they're like you think that they're minuscule and that they really don't count. But as you start progressing and you get onto that transportation portion and you're looking for clientele, you'll understand when you look at the history of your page and you see where you started from and people can see where you're at now, they have an understanding that you mean business because they can see your business actually evolve and grow. I know even for me with the NEMT Startup Coach, you can look at my first videos and they're a hot mess. And then as I grow, they get better. So it's the same thing for our companies. And, I had someone reach out to me yesterday who had also worked with another larger competitor on this side who said the same thing. I just been seeing you everywhere, and that's the goal, is that you see me everywhere. I put out a short every day, 3 times a day, or, post on Facebook, as often as I possibly can, because that's the only way people find you these days until you can get your self-pay and your word of mouth up. That's the way they're going to find you, is through social media and social avenues.
And I like to say, here in our area, downtown Waukegan, there is it's called the Tech Hub. It's a business incubator, right? Because I know one mistake that I made when I first started, right? I had my address, right, as my business address. And I really should have had another address for my business. So I'm not getting all these calls and these, it's just, I don't want nobody to know where I actually live. So the cool thing about them is that you're able to use their location as your business address, right? And if you need to have a meeting, if they even have an area where you could do that green screen stuff, do your social media videos, do whatever you want to do. So I found that to be something that I'm going to get more into. I'm going to go in there and can start journaling my process, videoing my process, so that I can have some more stuff to put out there. And like I said, key thing though, even though I've got like an awesome business plan, got my projections right, it didn't matter because I was missing some key information. You know what I'm saying? So if anything I got for anybody is, I'm doing these classes, right? I create these courses in this software called Articulant. And I'm doing it for a gentleman who was the vice president over supplier diversity at Johnson Controls, Reginald Layton. And he's awesome. So as I go through the videos and the PowerPoints, I create the course. But in that process, everything that Willena has been saying is part of that course. It's, you got to get certified. You got to have a business strategy, right? You got to have direction. You got to have critical thinking when you're doing this, the who, what, why, when, right? And it's just all comes together I'm just saying, because I'm Black, okay? African American or any minority business, we lack because we don't start out the gate right. We think,
right, that's right,
that business plan and a few things together, we out to get, but it's more to it than that. If we want to be successful and be known, branded, do it for real, we got to do it for real.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Do it for real.
It's a whole business. It's not a side hustle. And I get so frustrated because I don't like calling out people, but this isn't a business that in the first 6 months, you're going to be able to go ahead and buy those red bottom shoes. It's not happening. You can, but you might not be able to pay your driver next week if the check from the broker don't come in, right?
Yeah.
So you have to prepare financially. And that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you guys too. I know, Taylor, you're just starting out, but even just starting out, how much have you invested into your business?
I mean, just starting out, a couple thousands, just trying to make sure you find the right mentor, trying to And the certifications, yes, they are free, but it's just certain things. I mean, the equipment, or purchasing just a laptop in general, it's just certain things in which I already had, but people starting out may not know that they need certain type of equipment, or certain resources. Even building a website, or if you want to use a different address or have a different phone number, those are things that you pay monthly. My business isn't up and running, but I'm still having to pay for these things, in order to have it, to get these certifications, get the LLC. So it's a lot of steps and a lot of money just to start out, so I can only imagine to get as far as Alicia, Wayne, and Cheryl, how much money they put into it.
That's right. Would you guys mind sharing like how much money that you guys have put in it since you guys have started?
Yeah, we don't mind sharing at all. Part of that was the purchase of our van, right? That was the largest expense we had. But we've invested 40,000 into our business. And like Taylor said, I mean, and that comes down to your monthly administrative fees, the QuickBooks, the e-voice for the telephone number for the business, our virtual mailbox or address. All our business mail goes to a virtual mailbox. That costs all of that, the insurance. And then, of course, the van was the biggest purchase. But yes, so far we've invested 40 grand. And what we've seen is there's been a little bit, there's definitely hadn't been 40 grand of profit. But we are making some money where the business is caring for, say, the business expenses, maybe not the insurance just yet, but the QuickBooks, those little monthly things. The business is covering some of our expenses. So we're starting to see a little bit of that come back to us. So if you balance all of that, that's where you see the 40 grand investment that we've made. But part of that was also preparing for us to not have any income for the first 3 months, right? That month of August where we had no income, we were doing trips. We went live August 9th and Wayne started doing trips. And when I learned, I'm not going to get paid for 30 days. Okay, thank goodness that we prepared ourselves for that. And honestly, we had one broker that we just got the check from them when we did a trip in August because they were 60. Yeah. They were 60-day pay. The Mayo Clinic, we contract with Mayo for discharges, and they are 60 days. So 40 grand so far, maybe a little bit more, but not much more, but about 40 grand we've invested in our business. It is cheap.
It's not cheap. It is not cheap. And for me, it's been a struggle because I'm used to getting a weekly check. And to this day, I can honestly say I hadn't seen personally any type of profit.
Yeah, definitely.
There hadn't been no profit at all. Everything we've made, it went straight to the business, and we're struggling to try to keep afloat right now. So we're just hoping that, eventually we'll get established, do enough trips and get established. So you got to have some sort of money set aside. You got to have something to sustain you to these times till you really get it, because it's not going to take off. What I noticed is you have all these different Facebook groups, all these Instagram posts and stuff like this, and join this, and it's not like that. It's not like that, and you can get caught up listening to that person. You have so much information coming at you to where you get confused on what's right and what you need to do. So Taylor, do not get caught up with all these Facebook pages and all these Facebook groups. Find you one person.
Listen to Willena.
Yeah, I found my person for sure.
We're blessed. Yes. Right. I wish I would have found her earlier, but the good thing is I have, and I probably have invested somewhere around 40,000 with the vehicle. I mean, I got the vehicle. I mean, it's not paid off, right? So maybe a little more, okay, because it's a 2022. But it's just so much to it, and we just need to. I know we want to be entrepreneurs, and that's wonderful. But I think in order to get it right, you just got to slow it down. God knows, I wish I'd slowed it down, because even in the purchase of my vehicle, I knew that the Dodge Caravan but they kept saying that it's going to be discontinued, and it probably is. I believe it is going to be discontinued, along with another model too. And so out here, it was difficult to find that Dodge Caravan in good condition used, so the vehicle I got is new. It was never driven, even though it's a 2022. But the wheelchair connectors or equipment or whatever, a little bit more education on that. So I'm going to go back to this person. Is more, I ain't going to say the company. Maybe I'll get sued if I do. But I'm going to go back to them and challenge them on the installation of the modification. Because when I'm pushing somebody up the ramp, if they got a little weight to them, I run into the things on the floor. I can't get them over.
So
right?
you have a manual lift in the back or power?
Yes, sir. It is a manual lift. I do have to push them up the ramp, but I have like these connectors that are
retractables.
Yeah, but they don't retract. What they do is I can pull them out and hook them to the chair. And as I'm pushing them up the ramp, once I turn the power off, it won't allow them to roll back, but it doesn't help me push them up. And I would have swore when we had our conversation, that is what they were.
I was looking at those. I like those. Matter of fact, on this vehicle, I was telling my wife, I was telling Shirley, our next vehicle, it will be the Ford Transit if we're in the when we're in the position.
Yeah, you just got to make sure that you have they retract out and in, and you turn the power on. It won't let the wheelchair roll back, right? But it don't help you pull them up that ramp when they heavy. Shoes. I was like yesterday. Was it Friday? Because Medicaid Impact requires they have certain vendors that you want to do training with. And so the guy came out here to our area 40 miles away and got in my vehicle, brought a wheelchair, and he got in it and had me push him up it because he wanted to make sure I can load somebody up, right, for Medicaid, right? So he did tell me, he says, just go back and tell him, listen, guys, you need to put some power in that retract. So when I'm pushing up, it's helping pull them in. Because right now, I was like, dude, I can get the old dude I did the first time up, but this cat yesterday, I was like, James, help me.
Wow.
So, and even in your vehicle selection. So I think that what you're doing, Willena, is a good thing, but getting us eager beavers to slow down. I'm so glad, Taylor, you haven't jumped in there yet and got that vehicle, because it's going to be important to even have expertise on vehicle selection and the equipment that's inside that vehicle.
That's right. You guys have been awesome. So I wanted to ask, I think you guys have been given a whole lot of advice already, but what would you advise? And I do see the question. I don't know if Jacob is still here, but I do see the question. We're going to answer. I'll see if someone can answer. But what advice would you give a new NEMT entrepreneur based on your experiences so far?
Well, my advice would be, don't follow all these posts, all these different, like you say, you mentioned you connected with Willena. Stick with her, and whatever advice she gives you, take that, learn from that, and the rest learn on your own. It's going to be some bumps and bruises along the way. We all in the learning process, it's still in learning stages. So it's a learning process. You're going to learn as you go, because nobody's going to tell you everything, because nobody has it all. So that would be my suggestion. So my wife may have something else.
Yeah, I think the Facebook groups are, okay. Just remember, everything that's posted in there, can't take it for, word of mouth. They're talking about their experience, their state, what they do. Just, understand that part of it. And I think the other advice I would give is to definitely, find your mentor and stick with that one mentor. Yes, by all means, do your own research as well, but make sure you bring back your questions to your mentor and be able to talk it through, and take your time. That's the other thing. Don't go too fast, because this is not a side hustle. It is a true business. So take your time and make sure you're doing it right.
That's right.
As a new NEMT entrepreneur starting up to others, just as what Cheryl and Wayne mentioned, I agree and believe getting a good mentor, having someone who has experience within this industry. Again, it is a business. You do have other people involved, within healthcare. So like, it's really, really important to make sure you're taking all the right steps in order to be successful. And I just think it has helped me up to this far, thus far as what I am now, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Well, for me, I can agree with what all of you guys have said, Taylor, Wayne, and Cheryl. Take your time. The videos, be wary, just don't believe all the hype. This is a process, and process takes time if you're going to do it right. If you're planning on having longevity, you got to take your time. And then again, like they said, get you somebody. And that's one thing I learned in the diversity courses is they said, listen, if you're doing something you've never done before, hire you somebody that knows how to do it. Even if you got to pay your CEO more money than you make or whatever, you got to hire somebody that knows the industry. Otherwise, you set yourself up for failure and large loss of money. So if anything I can say on this journey, I am grateful to God for directing my steps this way to meet all of you nice people, because I plan on bugging every last one of you. Okay. All right. But yeah, this has been great. Thank you.
So let me ask y'all one more question. Do y'all think the market is saturated with too many of us trying to get on board and trying to do this now? How do y'all feel about that?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. And out here, there are a ton of people riding around. But when I hooked up with Willena, I began to see what it was. Like there's this group that's called Safeway, and they partnered with Topline, and they have the state contract for the school. So all the homeless families that had kids that need to go to school, they have that contract. How did they get that contract? They had to have done what you said to do in order to get that state contract, right? Because they are a minority-owned business, right? Mm-hmm. But the state, the schools are not happy with them. So that's one of my goals, is to take that. So then we got a lot of them, and they come from the city, 40 miles away from me, to our area, right? So it's not economically sound for them to be doing that because of the traffic. Even though it's highly saturated, they're not doing what I'm doing.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I agree with Alicia. I feel that, yes, I've seen a lot of transportation businesses within Louisiana, although till today, I still hear a lot of patients complain or bring out their concerns about being left at the doctor's offices or not having a ride. So I still think that even though there are a lot of businesses, there's still a lot of business left, for other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, because they've gotten lackadaisical in their service, and the quality of their vehicle. My promise is that you're going to have clean, sanitized vehicles, not going to be all beat up and towed down. It's not going to happen. Not with me, because I'm too OCD for that stuff, right? So I can't have that. James is super OCD. So I had one story to say. I still have this lady that calls me every month. She says, "Do you got Medicaid yet, Alicia?" I said, "Baby, just hang on, I'm gonna get it." And then she says, "Because I called so-and-so, and so-and-so told me," she said, "I broke my foot. So I got this boot on there. I'm an elderly lady, and they wanted me to walk 2 blocks to meet them."
Oh, wow.
Come on now.
Oh, wow.
And I'm collecting all of that information, and I'm taking pictures of all these rundown vehicles and stuff. And this is stuff, I'll blot out their names and stuff, but hey, this is the service I'm not providing.
Right.
And I find just working with different individuals on a daily basis, when I'm talking to you guys, there is a lot of opportunity still in this industry. However, there are a lot of individuals listening to the hype, going and getting their van, going and just doing the basics, getting the regulations, and just slapping the DOT numbers and stuff on their vehicle, and they fire it up. but they don't have a business mindset. They have that hustle mindset, that profit mindset, which will differentiate you from them in the long run. Because in the long run, their business, you can pretty much count that in 1 to 5 years, unless they hustle back and correct it, you're going to be out of business, which leaves room for those who are actually doing the right steps. And so, like with Alicia, you see those contracts with the schools. They started out just like you. They went out and they got their certification. They did things the right way. They structured themselves. And even though they may still be wobbly, they're still being successful because they're outside of those brokers and they have a public contract. So that, they're still in the learning process, but that's us. You guys are in that learning stage, that 1 to 2 years where you kind of have to go through that initiation with the Medicaid brokers just for that experience. But once you get that experience, once you're 2 to 3 years in, then you qualify for all of those same contracts and those subcontracting availability. So don't let the hype fool you about so many people coming in and out of the industry. I hate to say it, but they're gonna fail. They're gonna fail because if you treat this, like we say, as a side hustle, you're going to fail. You're not financially planning. You don't have a strategy. You don't have a successful business model. You don't have a brand. You just have a van and some keys. That's not gonna cut it for this industry. So we did have a question that I know that Wayne and Alicia and Cheryl, hey guys, if you're still listening, go ahead and hit that like button or that subscribe button so that it can get this video up in the algorithm. Thank you so much. What rate? I'm going to give you guys a warning. I saw this video, a short, a few weeks ago that was like, oh, don't ruin our industry by setting these low rates and these standards. Now I'm going to say $20 for a ride that's too low. But I have a video that's kind of countering that about when you're initially starting, sometimes you got to suck it up and take that lower rate. But as you know better, you do better, right? So I just wanted to talk to, if you guys can kind of counsel the new NEMT entrepreneurs on how they can structure their rate per mile, or how you guys have structured your rates so that it works for you.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. So for us in Florida, the first thing we did is we really called around to some of our competitors. We wanted to make sure that our rates was competitive, that we were not too low or too high. We were maybe right there in the middle, right around our other competitors. So we would just call like we were going to book a trip and kind of understand what their rate structure was like. Then based on that, Wayne and we had to adjust it a couple of times to, kind of get it where we were comfortable with it. And then once we establish our rates, we have one rate for wheelchair because that requires more assistance, right? The procurement part of it requires more assistance. And then an ambulatory patient may not require as much assistance. So there may be, less of a low rate or base rate for ambulatory. One of the things we also realized is that although these were the rates we wanted our company to have, we found some brokers not wanting to pay those rates. They wanted to pay lesser rates. And so that's where I was, mentioning to Taylor, just make sure you advocate for yourself as much as possible to get the brokers closer to your rate, what you would charge a private pay person. Get those brokers to get as close to that as possible. So you feel good about taking a trip. Last thing we wanted to do is take a 15-mile trip for $40. If a broker was only going to pay us $1 a mile, I'm just throwing that out, and it's going to be $40. That doesn't even cover our gas. Yeah. So, Wayne never wants to feel like we're just giving our heart and energy and effort and work away. And that's kind of how it would feel if you can't get as close to your rates as possible. So that's what we did to establish our rates. In Florida, we have a $2.50 rate for wheelchair passengers, and then we have a $2.25 for our ambulatory passengers. That's per mile. And then we do have some assistance or securement base, low fee, base fee. It's a whole lot of different language like that for each ride as well. But it started off with us calling companies in our local area and seeing what their rates were so that we were not too low, too high. We were kind of right there. We established competitive rates, and that's where we are today.
Yeah, so tell us, so like my wife said, prior to you signing any contract with any broker, don't sign it, don't agree to it unless you're comfortable with it. Because if you agree to $1.50 and you find out you get $2, they're gonna try to keep you to that 150. You can't go back and change it. So whatever you sign on, you agree with that. So make sure before you agree to it that is your number. That's
as much as possible.
Yeah, much as possible.
A lot of them will say that's the most I can pay. And so then it's going to be up to you to accept that or not. If they're not willing to come up, to closer to your private pay or your rates you want to be paid for. But that's just been our experience. We had one that was just not willing to come up. Then we had 3 of them that was willing to honor our rates. So we were fine with those 3. So, it's a give and take there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think that's going to be one of the challenges. Well, that's what I've been worrying about, just starting up, and I plan on only having 1 vehicle starting up. So I kind of worry about what I'll face as far as them wanting to accept those rates or saying, hey, this is all we can offer. So we'll see when I get there.
Yeah.
I have noticed that I do experience that with so far I've signed up with 2 brokers, right? One deals with workman's comp. They're more closer to my rates, right? Then there is the other one who keeps sending me things for $20, and I call and I say, hey, listen, I can't do that for you. And you told me you just got this new contract, so you either going to have to come up to me or somebody else, right? So my rates have a base rate. I have a base rate. In order for me to, get going with you, I have a base rate which includes so many miles, right? So it includes 10 miles, right?
Okay.
In that base rate. So, and it is different for ambulatory and wheelchair. And then there's a weekend rate, after hours rate, and then there's also holiday rate. So my rates, how I came up with them, besides the calling, was I also did research on my top competitors and what they were charging. And some of them post their private pay rates, right? And so I do have that. It's a part of my business plan too, the rates, because when I do go for a small business loan, they need to know what I'm charging or what my rates will be. So, and how I came to those. So I did some research in the industry in my area to see what they were charging, because if there is a NEMT company that is large enough who is on the stock market, in their annual report will be their numbers. So that's a help too if you're doing research.
right.
Say that I'm hoping that we're still recording because the screen is frozen on my end. Can you say that part again on where they might be able to find the information on rates again?
Yeah, so for me, I did the research. Besides calling, I also researched my top competitors in the area, and if they were on the stock market. In other words, they set their company up to be a corporation and have stock. So, and some of them go as far as to get large enough to where they're actually traded on the stock market. So they have an annual report.
Right.
That's on their website.
Okay.
That you can download or open up and see their numbers.
That is a very good idea. I hadn't even thought about that, because that you're exactly right. When they're these larger companies, they do have to give an annual reporting and accounting for where the money's going. So that's a very good point. So one of the things that I was going to say as far as rates go, for sure, investigating your competitors is the best thing. And sometimes it's okay to go in a little bit lower, but then there's other times that it's not. Like I do know, like Louisiana has really good rates, so we're okay in that regard. Whereas Florida, you got all different sides of it, where some give a little and some give a lot, some come in the middle. Workers' comp, like you said, Alicia, is generally the best paying because they are working with the actual private companies to provide that service rather than Medicaid and Medicare. So that those are a lot easier it's a lot harder to actually get those contracts here in South Carolina. They find you, you don't find them. But
well, there's a company that was on the list that I got, HomeLink, and they are in Scott.
That's right. That's right. And they will find that with workers' comp, they usually find you based on your website. I know that they found me on website. I didn't even know about the home link, but I do know that they have some good workers' compensation groups that will ask for your services too.
Yeah. So yeah, we work with HomeLink also. One of the things that I don't really, like about HomeLink, they pay good too. It's so competitive because, they're going to send you a trip and they're going to go typically to the lowest one. So
that's right.
We got this other broker, which is, I don't know y'all familiar with Transcom. I hate to throw them under the bus, but Taylor, stay away from them as much as possible. They are the worst in terms of pay. They want a nickel and dime. You don't want to pay you anything. They want to give you these $50.
What's the name? What did you say?
Transcom. Have you heard of them?
No, I thought you were talking about this one I'm saying that's lowballing too.
Yeah, they are the worst. They are, stay away from them. Stay away from them.
They are not doing good. I was like, oh, I would love to support you because you are a minority-owned business.
Right.
But if you keep coming at me like if I had a driver, I couldn't even pay the driver.
Right.
I mean, it's about some $13 or some $19. Who gonna do that?
Yeah.
Right.
You're gonna lose this contract. I told them at this hospital because I'm not running down there for $13. And Yeah,
Willena, that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you. If you did have a driver, how do you pay your drivers based on all the brokers are getting paid 30, 45, some 60 days? And then
that's the question I wanted to ask her too, but it looks like I'm the host now.
Yeah.
But that is a good question too, because to train somebody else costs me money, right?
Right.
The CPR, the first aid and CPR classes, the Medicar because they tell me I have a Medicar. I can't get a PT plate. I had to get an MC plate. So that means at first it was a PT plate, and then I had to go back and get it as an MC. You see what I'm saying? So it's so much to learn. But the question that Wayne asked was, how do you pay your drivers?
How do you pay your driver? But based upon, you getting paid every 45, 30 days, and these drivers, we want to get paid weekly, bi-weekly, and you don't have that money to pay yourself as well as them. So how do you pay your driver? What do you do in a situation like that?
You don't hire a driver.
Right.
Do you have the funds available to do it? That's where your certifications come in handy, because once you've been in business and you can show some profit, you can show your profit and loss statements, you can show your income statements, and you can show your balance sheets to the bank, to the SBA, then you may qualify for your SBA loans. And that's where you're coming in with your employment, and you'll be able to hire for your business on an SBA loan. So that's where, again, the certification is very important to get done early on, so that as you're building your business, you're keeping that relationship with them, so that when you're ready, when you need to, you can. But that's all in your financial planning and projections. When you first start, I think, Amanda's not here, but I know with us being nurses and in management and things like that, our salaries, they can range, by the hour, let's say $30 to $40 an hour. So when you're thinking of starting your business, if you make $30, $40 an hour, and that's what you use to pay yourself and pay your personal bills, you need to be making at least that and a little bit more in order to sustain your business. So it really is sitting down, crunching your numbers, finding out how much it costs for you to handle your personal side, and then looking to see how much you're going to have to spend on your transportation side, on your business side, and then coming with something in the middle. But really, in all honesty, if you can't pay yourself, don't come in there with anything else, with any other money that you might have to do, because once you start hiring drivers, that's a whole nother set of problems.
Right.
Another set.
Yeah, you gotta have workman's comp and all that stuff.
And they gotta want to come to work. They gotta want to wear the uniform. They gotta want to have your same dream and your same vision. If they don't have your same vision and your same dream, they're gonna run your company down the hole because they don't care. They won't care. So hiring the right individual is even more important than just hiring someone. And you're gonna have to pay premium dollars, especially in Florida, to get that right individual because there's so many companies.
Wow. Yeah. You know, and I guess it is so key. What you're saying makes so much sense. How do we pay drivers? We can't pay a driver until you're certified and you get the state contract, because from what my understanding is, per child, they set aside $5,000 per child to transport them back and forth to school. I pay driver.
It varies per state. I know in South Carolina, they're getting $85 per head. That's going, and then $85 coming. So that's $170 a day for that one child.
Yeah.
So the contracts are there. You just have to get the experience and get the certifications, because they're not going to work with you if you don't have the certifications, because there's too many businesses. I shouldn't say too many businesses. There are enough businesses that are taking the time to go through the right processes, that if they have apples and oranges, and they need apples, they're not going to squeeze an orange in there. They're going to take the apple. Right. So you just have to be able to line up.
I'm going to line up. I may have to get a job for a minute, but
I had to go back to work. You do what you got to do. You got to hustle. And, my husband was telling me yesterday, he's like, oh my goodness, you're like a workaholic. You go to work all day and then you come home from work and you're on calls. But you do what you got to do, because that first 3 years is the critical point. Just like when you have a baby, that first year, you can't just say, okay, you were born. I don't have to feed you. I don't have to water you. I don't have to change your diaper. I don't have to pick you up. No, you working harder than you were when you was carrying that thing. Hey.
Well, I'm used to hard work. Project management is like.
That's right. And that's another thing. This business is not for those that don't like to work. You have to be able to want to hustle and grind and put the pedal to the metal, because, if you skip out, if you take too long or whatever, your competitors coming right in there. So that's right. Yeah. So we do have a question I wanted to make sure I answered. Is that this is coming from Jacob. He said, quite helpful. I've watched a lot of videos, got too much confusing info. I'm still getting to understand the market before I get started. I live in Evanston, Illinois. Can I get in touch with Alicia?
Oh, have mercy, Jesus. Sure. You go to my website, WeSimplyCareTransport.com. And on the contact page, you'll see my email, support@WeSimplyCareTransport.com.
That's right. Amen. And just reach out to Alicia. And boy, I'm telling you guys, I'm glad that we have that private Facebook group, because I've been blowing, I've had somebody the other day that was asking about a business plan, a brand new set, their partnership that just started. They're like, we got to write a business plan. I was like, I know somebody.
Hallelujah. Yeah, you find yourself, things come out of it. You never know what God's doing, right?
That's right. I see we have some more individuals that have joined. Please go ahead and hit that like button. We're going to wrap things up here in a moment. But if you have a question, please drop it into the comments section so we can answer those while we're on board. I'm just going to, since we're so far in, I'm just going to ask everybody just to give a quick introduction to yourselves and your state one more time, so every viewers know who we've got on here. We can start with Alicia.
Hi, I'm Alicia Harris, and my company is We Simply Care Transport and Services, and I'm out of Illinois.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I am located in Louisiana, owner of Business Assured Care Transportation.
Hi, my name is Cheryl, and it's my husband, Wayne, and we are the owners of True Care Non-Emergency Medical Transportation of Jacksonville, Florida.
Amen. So we've got some good representation on the table. And I think what we can all take from this experience is that slow and steady wins the race in the game of NEMT, not quick and fast. It just won't work out that way. And that to have a financially sound business plan on how you're going to open, how you're going to operate once you get started. Do you guys have any takeaways that you like to give NEMT entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I would say just be patient, and grant you, none of us is going to know everything. You got to have some faith, do as much research as possible, get your mentor, get some type of mentorship program, which I recommend Willena, and just step out there on faith and to continue to treat people right, do right, and right gonna come to you. And I pray to God that all of us are successful. Anything that we can do, we can share to help you guys with. We're here, and I just wish the best for all of us.
That's right. We had a comment that came through. It says, "Great job. I am here in Tampa Bay, wheels around transportation in Florida." So thank you for joining us. I'm so grateful that you're here, and you guys can hook up with Wayne and Cheryl. I'm sure they can with you. Do you guys want to give your email address or any contact information so people can maybe reach out and if they have any questions on the area?
Yeah, absolutely. So our email address or our website address, because you can definitely contact us and email us through the website, is True Care, and that's TRUCARE, True Care, NEMT JAX, JAX. So True, TRUCARE, EEMT JAX, JAX.com.
Awesome. Thank you. And then thank you so much. And then Taylor, what insights would you like to leave our listeners with?
So as far as everything we've been discussing, I mean, I definitely agree on getting a mentor and getting involved with people within the industry that you all can talk to and relate with, because there aren't too many that you can find and just communicate with. It's hard. You have to do a lot of research on your own and just take everything at a slow and easy pace.
That's right. That's right. We had another question that came through. Thank you for that, Taylor. It says, "Hi guys, thanks for the info. I have a question. How do you get business finance if you have a new company?" So we just kind of talked about that, but I'm going to go back over it. I have a new video that as soon as I get my voice back, I will be absolutely 100% detailing that step by step. I'm giving you guys that information, but I'll go ahead and drop it here. With your business finance, the first thing you want to do is have a sound business plan and a sound business projection. Once you have those two, where you've actually taken the time, if you haven't looked at my NEMT projection video, go and look at that. There's a lot of information, so you might have to take it in baby steps and kind of just chew on it a little bit and then go back and look at it some more. But really take the time to develop your business plan and your project and your projections. That way you can leverage. You have to leverage your personal credit. Your personal credit is totally essential. You can't go into this business with bad personal credit. You have to have your personal credit cleaned up, because they're going to leverage your business credit on that. So if you don't have any other business credit, but again, I have a video that's going to talk about developing your EIN and going into the net 30 and the net 60 and all of those different type of credits and how to build your business credit so that you're ready to go to the bank with some numbers and you can show that you have some type of history, some financial history before you go to the bank. Okay. And then they're asking me, pin my Facebook group. I don't know how to do that, Renee. Thank you for asking. I have no idea.
I know it's hard, right? Facebook.
So yeah, it should be on. If you're watching, you're Renee, you're from Facebook, so you should see me in the NEMT Startup Coach. I wish I knew how to do it. I'm gonna play around it next time so I can know how to do that. Thank you for that. And again, I do have the private Facebook group. It is for membership only and for my paid coachees and mentees, or those who I've worked with since the beginning. But you are more than welcome to go on my website, www.nemtstartup.com. startup.net and purchase one of those packages. They are on sale. I do know what my competitors are charging for their courses and their mentorship, and it's astronomical. So you are getting a really, really good deal. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot my own horn. You're getting a really good deal for what you're paying for. So I really encourage all you guys, to new entrepreneurs that are watching this, to go and take advantage of that, because my rates definitely will be going up once the special is over, December 31st. So are there any other questions through Facebook or through YouTube, guys? We're going to wrap it up. So if you have the questions, go ahead and drop them down in the comments section, please.
I have a question.
Yes,
It would be
ma'am.
nice to know where everybody's like coming from that's asking you questions. Like Renee, where's Renee from? Where is she out of?
Oh, Renee, if you're still on, can you drop where you're from and what state you're from? I know she's in the Facebook group. I can't see that. Houston.
Okay. All right. That's cool. That's cool. My daughter is out in Houston. Well, two of my daughters are in Houston. Cool.
Yeah, go ahead, Wayne. I was just gonna say that I have one of my coaches that wasn't able to make it today. Monique, she's out of the, not, it's Texas. I don't think she's in Houston. I want to say she's in Austin, but so yeah, you guys have that. Oh, Gerald G. Hey, Gerald, it's good to see you. You got here. He's in Atlanta, Georgia. Amen. Woo-wee. Y'all moving and shaking down there. That's its own little thing over there. I think I had someone contact me about Georgia. We're going to be starting working together soon. But like I said, Atlanta and Georgia, those are two different things. Just like Chicago and Illinois, probably two different things.
Yeah, yes, it is actually. You are absolutely right. I noticed that in the impact application. It has a part where it gets down there and said, now, if you're in the city of Chicago, you need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So I was like, oh my God, it's a difference. I'm glad I'm not in the city of Chicago.
That's right. That's right. And some of
whoever's in Evanston, you probably are going to have to deal with those Chicago requirements.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, guys, I really appreciate your time. We went over a lot, but this was a wonderful, wonderful time of collaboration and discussion. And I'm just so grateful to have you guys here, and that you guys are doing so good and starting your businesses and the entrepreneurship. And I'm sure individuals are going to rewatch this live and reach out to you. So get your mentor shoes on too. Go ahead and get those Facebooks and those websites and those Instagrams and everything else up, because people are going to seek you out. So that's what we do. All right. So it says, yes, you will be able to watch the replay. This will, once we hit end stream, it'll cycle right back over. So thank you for that wonderful question. Well, I thank you guys, and thank you so much for doing this. And I'm glad that even through my crazy voice, I didn't do it. When it's the next live with other NEMT providers, we gonna get them up. Okay. I knew this was gonna be a hit. Look.
It's good. We appreciate you and all your help.
Yeah, thank you, Willena.
Thank you, Willena.
You're so welcome. I'll see you guys soon. Make sure you guys schedule the appointment. Taylor, I'm looking for yours coming up soon. You should be finishing up soon.
Yes, mine should be coming up soon.
Good. All right. Well, you guys reach out to me and I'll talk to you soon. And Gerald, hit me on my website, www.nemtstartup.net, and we can get that mentorship going. All right, you guys be blessed.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.